All right, today we're going to tackle something that seems, well, almost impossible. We're going to demystify the world of robotics and show you how anyone, and I mean anyone, can go from knowing absolutely nothing to building their own autonomous robot in just 30 days. So, have you ever had that thought? You're watching a movie, you see some cool tech, and you think, man, I wish I could build something like that. For most of us, building a robot feels like it's reserved for geniuses in some secret lab somewhere. But here's the thing, it's not science fiction. Not anymore. What if the barrier to entry is way lower than you think? And what if, with the right map, you could create your very own moving, thinking machine? And that's the timeline. Just 30 days, 1 month. That's all it takes to go from square one to having a fully functional, autonomous robot. Seriously. It's not a fantasy, it's a real achievable plan. So, let's frame this like a heroic quest. You know, every great story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Well, your journey into robotics is just like that. It starts with the basics, and it ends with you bringing a smart machine to life. And here's the map for our quest, broken down into 3 simple phases. The first 10 days, that's all about laying the foundation. The next 10, you're actually building the body. And in that final stretch, the really exciting part, you get to awaken its brain. Okay, phase 1. So before any hero can go on an adventure, they need to forge their sword, right? For our robot quest, that sword is the language of electronics and code. This is where you gather your essential tools. And the most important tool in your kit is the Arduino. Just think of it like the central nervous system for your robot. It's the brain that you're going to teach how to think and act. So in these first 10 days, you really get a handle on the fundamentals. You start with the absolute basics of electricity, then you plug in your Arduino, and your first big win? Making a little LED light blank. From there, you level up fast, learning how to control the DC motors, the very things that will make your robot actually move. All right, phase 2. You've got your tools, and now it's time to build the armor, the physical body of your robot. This is where the world of code meets the real world of nuts, bolts, and wheels. It's getting real now. And this part is a really satisfying step-by-step process. You assemble the frame, you wire everything up, and then that magic moment happens when you upload your code and see the wheels spin for the very first time. You're not just coding anymore. You're choreographing movement, teaching it to go forward, turn, and pretty soon navigate a whole path like a square. Right at the end of this phase, you hit this huge milestone. It's like the robot's first taste of awareness. Using a simple little sensor, you give it eyes. Now it can move forward, and for the first time, it can actually react to the world around it by stopping before it crashes. This is a total game changer. Which brings us to the grand finale, phase 3. We've built the body, we've got it moving. Now, we give it a real brain. This is where we make the leap from a simple machine that follows orders to one that can start making its own decisions. And here is the key difference. In phase 2, the robot just stopped. That's a basic reaction. But in phase 3, it sees the object, stops, thinks, and then figures out a new path to go around it. That's not just a reaction anymore. That's intelligence in action. And once you have that breakthrough, the possibilities just explode. You can teach it to follow a line on the floor, solve a simple maze, even control it from an app on your phone. You learn to fine-tune its speed using something called PWM. It's just a fancy term for getting really precise motor control. You can even combine skills, making a robot that can follow a path and avoid any surprises along the way. So, after 28 days of learning, building, and tinkering, you've arrived. The final 2 days. This is the climax of our quest. It's time for the final project, the moment you put every single thing you've learned to the test. This is it, the whole goal of the entire journey. Not just a robot that moves, but an autonomous moving robot. A machine that you built, you programmed, and you taught how to think for itself. But you know, when the quest is over, what have you really gained? The robot itself isn't actually the main prize. When you look at the breakdown, the biggest reward is the confidence you've built, followed really closely by a massive boost in your problem-solving skills. The technical stuff is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. And that really is the heart of it all. The journey wasn't just about circuits and code. It was about transforming yourself. The thing you truly created is a new, more capable, and more confident version of you. So we'll end on this thought. the path from zero to hero is actually pretty clear. It's not magic, it's a process. And it proves that with a bit of guidance and one focused month, you can learn to create something pretty amazing. So the only question left is, what will it be?